Okay.
Hello, everyone. Oh,
Sorry.
off to a booming start. Love it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2 of Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves. I'm your host, Ike, and before you get too sucked into this awesome interview, do us both a favor and like, subscribe, and share this amazing piece of entertainment, because I am here with the one, the only, Peter Day!
Hi. Happy to be here.
On this a lovely day.
Yes. I actually really love good puns on my name. I've heard a bunch of them, but for some reason they actually do make me smile every time I hear
That's
them.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great disposition you find yourself with.
Yeah.
Most people, it's the exact opposite. I have a friend whose last name is Maybe, and I fit it in too much because I'm a piece of shit.
Oh,
And
well, that's
he,
really that's easy.
it's really easy. Maybe even the easiest. But he hates it and does not find any enjoyment whatsoever.
Yep.
I am going to do my best not to beat the pun to death, but good Lord knows I won't be able to stop myself.
That's totally fine.
What is your favorite pun you've heard involving your name that you've experienced? One that stands out.
I don't have a good one, but my boss prefers to start every interaction we have by loudly asking, "What day is it?" And then I respond with whatever the actual day of the week is, and then he says, "No, it's Peter Day."
If it's ever Wednesday and he does that to you, you need to put on your best Geico commercial hat and just say, "Hump Day!" and get it back. There's no coming back from Hump Day. It trumps everything.
It's true. Okay, I'm putting that in my pocket for the day when I I can't deal with it anymore. I just gotta shut it down. Then it's gonna be Hump Day.
Woo! I'm helping social discourse, I promise. All right. Speaking of social discourse, what's your favorite movie line that you like to quote apropos of nothing in particular?
Whew. Yeah, I cannot think of a single movie right at this particular moment.
You're all good.
What was the last movie that I even saw?
What are movies?
What are movies? Movies are strange, moving pictures that our brains tell us are reality, and we know that they're lying, but we like them anyway.
They do. Escapism at its finest. All right, well, maybe if you can't remember your favorite movie line, do you remember what your first date movie was? Or in lieu of that, what you think would make a great first date movie?
Yeah, my first date movie, I guess technically my only first date movie was Ocean's 13, and it was a good first date movie because it was entertaining, but it didn't use too much of my brain, so I could use more of my brain just casually looking over to my side is she having a good time? Yeah, she's smiling. She's still smiling. Okay, yeah. Oh, our hands almost touched when we both went for popcorn at the same time. Wow.
What's this about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Are you a big Steven Soderbergh fan?
I don't know who that is, so no. I don't know
the director of the Ocean's 11, 12, and 13 series.
Not especially. I appreciate
if you
those
don't
movies, but no, if I don't know who he is, then I'm probably not the biggest fan that there ever was.
Fair to say. Well, what would you say you're a fan of making meal-wise, just for yourself, assuming time and money are not relevant factors?
Oh, geez. So I'm a terrible cook, But
Join the club.
yeah. So if I'm literally like just cooking for myself, I'm gonna boil some eggs and I'm gonna get some corn chips and salsa and have like a deconstructed huevos rancheros. And
That's really cool.
yeah.
I've never heard of that before. That's rad. So
Yeah.
do you like, okay, so we boil the egg.
Yeah.
Do we cut it up into little pieces? What do we do with the egg?
No, we're eating the egg completely separate. We are keeping all of the food groups like entirely isolated so that they do not
Wait, are we eating the
encounter each
salsa
other.
by itself too? Just spoonfuls of
No,
salsa?
I mean, if I could. I mean, that's the next level for this thing, but
I think
no.
that's just chunky tomato soup with a little bit of spice and sugar in there, but
I should
that
just
sounds
just
awesome.
like crack a raw egg into some salsa and like put on a stove for a little bit. Is that anything?
Yeah, that's chilaquiles.
That sounds delicious.
Sort of. So yeah, it's not quite. I'm kind of mixing up the order, but chilaquiles is you take salsa, you heat it up in a frying pan, you put chips in, not super enough so that they get flavor, but not so much so they get soggy. They need to still be hard. So it's actually best to use like week old tortilla chips that have been like maybe left open so that they're hard enough that they can soak it up without losing structural stability.
I have so many of those.
And then you can I usually poach my eggs, put them on top, and just go to town. It is a messy, delicious pile.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Okay, well, you've just introduced me to my new favorite thing to make for myself.
Shakalaka.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Speaking of favorites, what is your favorite non-exercise thing to do that you have to force yourself to do?
Right. It's writing.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were being like, right.
Yeah,
Wait.
yeah. I had to specify.
What is it that you like to write but have to force yourself to do so anyway?
I mean, I have to write for my job all the time, and it's the topics can vary. It varies from like something that I've chosen for myself that like probably very few people are going to read, but I'm technically an editor, so nobody gets to tell me no. And I get to just write about, I don't know, like I get
It
to
sounds like you're a self-conscious emperor. You're like,
yeah.
nobody's here to stop me, but also like, I don't want to.
I'm aware that I'm like possibly technically not using my company's money.
You're a fearful omnipotent.
Yeah,
You're just
exactly.
like-
I'm borrowing the emperor's clothes, and as long as the emperor never comes back, then I'm fine. I can do whatever I want. I'm just like constantly checking.
looking over your shoulder into the horizon.
Yeah. But
That's awesome.
as long as I have this power, I can just write about, I can take whatever Reddit post somebody made and then write a really detailed response to it and stick it on a company's blog and go, there, I've solved the problem.
That's content, baby.
That is content. The great thing about content is that literally everything is content. It's the vaguest word in the world, so there's nothing that can't fit
art.
under it. Yeah, exactly.
It's like art. You can if if you accidentally shit your pants in public, and somebody just judges you, you're like, it's performance art. You just don't get it.
Yeah.
Like they can't say you're wrong. It's 100%. You have the capability of being corrected there. Would I recommend it? No, there's not that many people buying tickets to it, but it's technically art.
Right. Yes. Then I guess that's where like judgment comes in. It's good art if people will pay lots of money for it. But regardless, it still counts as art. So you can still write it off.
Yeah. And if nobody buys tickets to it, it's avant-garde art.
Yeah.
Art avant-garde.
Like you said, they just don't get it.
They just don't get it, man. They're not hip.
No.
Speaking of something or someone that would be hip, who's someone you've never met, alive or dead, that you'd like to have lunch with?
Whew. So, I'm probably wasting this power because there's so many people are covered under anyone alive or dead.
True facts. Billions even.
Right, yeah.
Wonder if I don't think we've reached trillions, but definitely billions.
A lot. Technically everyone. So so my favorite card game right now is Netrunner, and it's currently being developed by a like semi-anarchist fan collective, and the designer is this woman June Cuervo, who just designs Netrunner and plays poker, and she's been on a bunch of podcasts, and I want to hear her talk about Netrunner and her like vision for the game like unceasingly. I will listen to any interview with her. So
That's so awesome.
I would love to just like sit down and listen to her ramble about whatever she wants to talk about.
Also kind of love so you work at TCG Player, which, unless I'm incorrect, is probably moves the most amount of product it moves through is like Magic the Gathering cards. Is that probably accurate to say?
That is probably accurate to say. I don't know that I can say more than that. But
well, fun through line, I was just looking up Netrunner, as I knew there was some interesting tie-in. The creator is Richard Garfield.
Yeah.
It was so
the
cool.
one. The only.
The one. The Mega Man that is the god of TCG games.
Yep. And according to Wikipedia, he is a direct descendant of President Garfield.
Oh, wild.
Yeah, but that is
but the
there's
most important
no citation
question to find out is how much he likes lasagna and or hates Mondays.
Yeah.
That's the real like through line.
Make the connection.
Because President Garfield notoriously, just hated Mondays, loved lasagna.
Loved getting assassinated, hated Mondays.
Love you. You can only love it once, but boy, man, can you really love it that one time, I tell you.
You're looking forward to it. Whole life.
Your whole life's building
and
up.
It's over
to this
before you know
moment.
it.
What's your favorite non-traditional curse word?
There's a video by the YouTuber H Bomber Guy where he calls the viewer a gormless rube. And it can't be improved upon.
No.
The British have us beat for profanity, 6 ways to Sunday. And that's just one little example of something I love to bust out whenever there's an opportunity to go over the top.
I love gormless is just such a visceral word. I don't know the definition, but I know it's bad.
Yes.
Just by the sound it makes. I'm just and it's just so thick.
Exactly.
And then rube is just such an old-timey you're a dumb piece of shit.
Yes.
It's just such a great way of succinctly and seemingly almost nicely, rube.
Yeah.
There's so many, it's just nah.
Yep.
But it's not good.
You can't be angry when someone calls you that, even though
you very much should be
withering in some sort of context. I did have to look up what gormless means, and it just means it basically just means stupid. So you're just saying someone is stupid twice.
I love that. Not only are you saying they're stupid twice, you're using a longer word than stupid and then a shorter word than stupid.
Yep.
To call somebody stupid.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's so fantastic. So I would be remiss if I didn't plug this. There's a video on YouTube by a fantastic, I don't want to call him British because that would be offensive. His name is Daniel Sloss. And he has this video that he did. It's if you just look up Daniel Sloss hyphen swearing, he did it at the Largo in 2020, and he explained in some ways why Brits are better at swearing than us, and more just like how we're bad at it, and it kind of fits into that like why they're better in a very kind of nice succinct 8-minute bit. It'll be in all the description links, so check that out if you want to kind of understand what me and my friend of the day here are
very nice.
At. Yeah, glad you appreciate it. Speaking of things that are appreciated, what inanimate object would you be best friends with were it sentient?
Okay, so I own a copy of this Japanese light novel called Boku to Tsundere to Haidega. If you were too online in 2011, you may have heard of it. It's this very traditional light novel setup where the protagonist dies and he gets immediately reincarnated in an alternate reality. But the twist is the alternate reality is occupied by reincarnations of European philosophers as Japanese schoolgirls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's been sitting on my shelf for years, and it's my dream to like translate it, and then like if I'm really ambitious to like annotate it to like break down like both the literary references within like the light novel genre and then like also the philosophical references, because there's so much that had to happen in the world. There are so many people who had to work so hard in so many different fields in order for this particular object to exist. And if I could just talk to the book, then, you know, I imagine translating would be a lot easier, and it could point out whatever I'm getting wrong. So that would be amazing.
Every bit of that is just fantastic. Thank you. All right. Speaking of fantastic, do you have a life hack that you'd like to share with the class to better improve their everyday living?
So this isn't a life hack if you actually know what you're doing in the kitchen, but as we've established, I don't. So the easiest thing that you can make that looks like it actually took effort is this pasta salad that's only got 5 ingredients, and you don't have to measure anything.
I'm listening.
Okay, so you get a bag of arugula. It's the bag, whatever the bag is that they have at the store. Get that one. Get some kind of short pasta, so not spaghetti. Anything else is fine. A fresh ball of mozzarella. A jar of roasted tomatoes, jar of pesto. You cook the pasta, you chop up the tomatoes and the mozzarella, you throw in the arugula and the pesto, and you're done.
So they all get cooked in the pan together?
No, you don't cook anything except for the pasta.
Okay, you cook the pasta, everything else gets whacked up in whatever size you want.
Yeah.
Thrown in, mixed up so you know it's not in globs.
Right.
And then present.
Yeah, you're done.
Sweet.
Serves
That's awesome.
as many people as you want.
Serves as many people as you bought ingredients for.
Yeah, exactly. It's very easy to double. You just buy 2 bags instead of 1 bag of arugula.
Or a bag that is twice as big as the bag you were thinking about buying.
No. Whatever the bag is at the store, those are the correct measurements. Those are canonically the correct measurements.
There's only 1 bag of arugula at the store. They don't make a second kind.
That's right.
There's only 1 size.
Every time you go into a different store, the contents of the ingredients change. Like the rules for this salad are adaptable, and their reality will shift to accommodate whatever your reality is at the store.
Oh, that's great. All right. Well, since we are in the land of cuisine, if you found yourself, if you were a condiment, which do you think you would be?
I think I would be butter, and I can't tell if that's a self-own or if I'm, like, really overrating myself. But I think what makes me butter is that I'm not ostentatious, I don't stand out, but I like to think that I make everything that I'm involved with just, like, a little bit better. You go,
Aw.
oh, what was that? Oh, that's the butter. It tastes good because of the butter.
It's the man who made the day.
Oh, you're doing it. I love
I'm
this.
making it happen. That is so sweet. It's like you nearly were on like the track to self-deprecation, and then it was just wholesome. That was very beautiful, man. Thank you. What's a job that at some point in your life you really wanted to pursue, but you're very glad you didn't?
So when I got out of college, I had no real idea what I wanted to do. But I knew that I wanted to travel, and my dad is a philosophy professor, and he found a program for getting a master's in Chinese philosophy in Shanghai that the Chinese government would pay for. So I went to China with the understanding that I was going to learn Chinese philosophy, and then, because China is, kind of a big deal, and there was going to be all of these new positions opening up for experts in Chinese philosophy, then it would be really easy for me to get a job as an academic.
Sure.
Um,
I feel like there's a but coming.
right. So the story of me not becoming an academic is a little bit longer, but I am very, very glad that I did not end up trying to pursue that with everything that I had, because it is horrifyingly barren out there for would-be academics. I know so many people, like, through that program and, like, elsewhere, who are so much smarter than me, and they've gotten their PhDs, and there's just nothing in academia. Like, maybe you'll get an adjunct position, maybe, and it will the pay will be terrible, and you'll be doing like twice as many classes as the full-time professors, and then after 3 years they'll say, okay, we're done with you, go somewhere else.
I mean, isn't that the dream though?
And
by dream I mean nightmare.
Yeah, like, being a starving academic is fun in your 20s. I don't know anyone who, like, actually wants to be that level of poor and overeducated and desperate for, like, decades and decades and decades of their lives.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, well, to put us back in a more spirited mood, I'm going to give you this hypothetical.
Okay.
You're going out to a party, and you want to look extra. You want to catch somebody's eye. You want to make a statement. You want to stand out. You want to get gawked at. What item do you adorn to embody that? What accessory do you rock?
The coolest piece of clothing that I own is a brown long sleeve kind of jacket that looks like slightly inspired by like an Air Force jacket.
Okay.
And that is the most ostentatious piece of clothing that I own.
Do we have some aviator shades to go and have people ask you if you have a plane?
No, absolutely not. I will wear that jacket, and if it gets too hot, I will take it off and I will hold it awkwardly beside me. I will have a graphic tee underneath that will make a reference to something that nobody gets, and someone will be nice and they will come up to me and say, "Oh, what's that from?" And then I will try to explain it, and I will get the story wrong.
What are some of your graphic tees that you really like to wear that have kind of that absurdism kind of, 8 people info?
Uh, let's see. I mean, one of them is just uh basically just an ad for my friend's concrete company.
Love it.
No, wait. Yes, it is. It is concrete. It's slating concrete. See, I knew this would happen. I predicted this. I would get the details of the shirt wrong.
He knew this day was coming.
Yeah. What else have we got? We just got, a little dragon circling around a D20, and that doesn't require that much explanation. Unless someone actually doesn't know what D&D is, and then in trying to explain it, you will get that very long look of why does anyone find this interesting? Why would you put it on a shirt? Why would you make me listen to it?
Why did you take off that really cool jacket?
Yeah, put that jacket back on. Let's pretend you're about to go fly somewhere.
Like out of this conversation.
Exactly.
All right. Well, other than that, other than putting your jacket back on, what life lesson do you wish you learned sooner?
The most important thing, like the one thing I would like to tell my younger self is that you should never consider any piece of information or like any field of study to be off limits. And like sometimes I would like close something off to myself if I thought it was like not important enough or like not, I don't know, like not high-minded enough. And then other times I would go, oh no, that entire field is too complicated, and because I can't master it, it's worthless to learn anything about it. Yeah. And both of those horrible mistakes, all knowledge is essentially one thing, and every time you learn something new about like one piece of reality, it makes all of the other pieces of reality like slightly more coherent.
Totally.
And we're not actually D&D characters or characters in an RPG where like every single point that you spend in one skill is a point that couldn't be spent in another skill. If you've got the opportunity to learn something that's not like easily transferable to something else, the point is not to like pour all of your points into just the correct things. It's to take every opportunity that you can get to learn something new. And it's
totally.
It all connects. It's all going to pay off in ways that you don't expect. And it's just more fun if you don't consider anything off limits to yourself.
Yeah. When you start keeping yourself from knowledge and from experiences, the amount of things that you're going to miss out on that you realize and the amount of things you're going to miss out that you didn't realize are just so gigantic.
Yes.
That's one of those things that growing up, it was like, well, I'm not going to use this. So, and like kind of treated it like a game, or like that whole like idea of like fast tracking yourself to success.
Yes.
You end up losing out all like the minutia and all that kind of deep brain insanity that can become like the muse or the whispers of the ancients to your life. You miss out on so many little things that change, like the ripple effect of knowing something that you can then like see the through line, see comparisons, be more articulate, be more interesting. And like the worst thing that you are, even if like it translates to nothing else, is you have like you're gonna do better in Jeopardy, right?
Yeah.
So like it has value.
It all pays off somewhere.
Yeah, you'll find your moment. You'll find your day where it was worth it.
I'm loving this.
I think I'm like 7 for 7.
Yeah, this is the most puns on my name that I've heard in like a single conversation ever. And
we're
my
not
hat's
even
off to you
halfway
for
done
that.
yet.
Yeah.
Not sure if I should like pull a Wilt Chamberlain and just like get my 100 points and sit down in the middle of the court, or if I should like try to go for like the most unbeatable score of all time. For those of you that don't understand the reference, Wilt Chamberlain once scored 100 points in a game. He did so with like minutes remaining and literally just sat down in center court. And when asked why he didn't try to score more, he said, "What's the difference between 100 and 102?" And just like, it's just a ridiculous number. It's like, it doesn't matter at this point. And just like stopped playing. Also because they were winning by like an absurd amount because, he alone had scored 100 points. It's wild. Anyway, like we were talking about, information that doesn't matter has value.
It all comes back.
Oh, it's full circle, baby.
Yeah.
Speaking of full circle, I don't know how that's a transition to the next one, but we're going with it.
Yeah.
Who would you want to play you in a movie of your life? Choosing any particular time period of your preference.
So when I was in China, a lot of people said that I looked like Harry Potter, which I think they meant specifically Daniel Radcliffe. And
yeah.
I can kind of see, like, I don't have the right hair color, but I'm almost like a much less handsome version of Daniel Radcliffe. So if he could play me, I'm going to say right after I came back from China, I got a job as a paralegal doing housing law in New York City, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, but I had degrees. They're like, well, he's probably smart. Just throw him in a courtroom. So I want to see the movie that is basically like
Daniel Radcliffe coming back from China, having a coming of age story in a courtroom.
Exactly. I want to
legal pablum.
Yes, I want to see Daniel Radcliffe like floundering for what to do in a system that he doesn't understand, and then realizing that even with like all of this, experience that he thinks he's had, the world is so much bigger than he anticipated.
Nice. I'd pay $5 to watch that on YouTube. I'm in. Daniel Radcliffe, haul at your boys. We'll make it happen. So, what poor man luxury do you still enjoy to this day?
At Trader Joe's, there's like an instant chai latte powder. I've been drinking that for maybe a decade now, for a long time.
Damn.
Definitely. Yeah.
Respect the commitment.
Yeah.
Also, brand choice, top tier. Trader Joe's.
Thank you. Yeah.
Lifetime.
Not sponsored, just like the brand. Yeah, I only drink it on the weekends, and like now, like basically just on Sunday, because there's a lot of sugar in it, and I don't always need that, but it reminds me it's the weekend and time has passed, and you've lived through another 7 days, and so you get to enjoy this. Congratulations.
That's awesome. I was really hoping I'm not gonna lie, I'm like a smidgen disappointed, but I think it's just my own projections because there's like I'll say 2.5 technically things that I just like can't get enough of at Trader Joe's. I don't know if you've experienced this. They have I think it's like a honey curry chicken salad.
Ooh.
It comes in like, it's like $3-4. Comes in like a little, plastic was gonna say plastic tin, but just like a little plastic container.
Yep.
It's like in the to-go aisle. It's really good. I think it's got like a shit ton of calories, but damn, it's amazing.
Yep.
And I think like usually right next to it they have a chicken pesto wrap. And I don't know what it is. I'm like okay with pesto. I'm sure there's just a lot more sugar in this pesto sauce. That's why I love it. But damn, that pesto sauce gets me. It knows what I want and it gives it to me. You know, it's there for me. And then they used to have. Sorry, go.
I was just gonna say, like, Trader Joe's. Someone's said that it's not like actually a grocery store. It's a little treat store. Yeah. You go there because, you need food. And then you come out with like some food and then like a whole bunch of just like this is just going to be for me later in the week. Yeah. And
it's the Cheers of grocery stores.
Exactly.
You just go in there and you feel like nobody actually knows your name, but you feel like everybody knows your name.
Yes. Oh, God. So pleasant.
And on the plus side, you know all of their names because they have very well done name tags. I like random aside. Like other places have name tags and they're fine. Some places have name tags where they're technically more coherent, but it's so big that it's kind of in your face. I feel like they do a perfect job of having a name tag I can read that pops so I can find it without having to like, scan them like the Terminator. Yeah. But it's like, reduced enough that I don't feel like, okay, I get your name is Jeff. Stop shouting at me. The only thing that could make that place more perfect is they brought back the, I think it was like the spiced pear cider or something like that. I had it like 8 years ago and I probably drank my weight in it, but I'd like to drink my weight in it again. So, Trader Joe's, Mr. Joe, if you are listening, Hefe, bring back the spiced pear cider, please.
Please. I have not gotten to experience this, and
it is amazing and calorically dense.
I look forward to having your calories in my stomach, Trader Joe's. Please make this happen.
Please. Upon me. Do you have any media, whether it be book, graphic novel, TV show, or movie that you've been putting off that's next on your to consume list that you just can't wait to crack open?
This kind of, I don't know if this exactly matches. I've got this, it's basically like a Dungeons and Dragons monster manual, but there's no stats in it, so it's just descriptions of monsters. It's called Fire on the Velvet Horizon, by, I hope I'm getting these names right, Patrick Stewart and someone named Scrap Princess.
As in, like, Sir Patrick Stewart?
No, not that one.
There's more than one?
There's more than one. The world is full of them. But this one writes monster manuals. Game agnostic monster manuals.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I love me a good stat, but having something that is just like, look, anybody can play with this toy.
Yeah.
It's like the Lego of monster manual books. Just like do whatever you want with it.
Yes.
Love that. That's so pure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, lastly, before we throw it to commercial break, if you could have listeners of this podcast hear one song of your choosing, which would it be?
I would have them listen to the song You by Ore Ska Band. They're a Japanese all-female ska band, and if that's not up your alley, then, I can't force you to do anything. But if you think it might be up your alley... this song in particular, it's got this sort of simmering frustration throughout the whole thing, and the lyrics like make it sound like the singer is in this really unsatisfying relationship, and it just kind of simmers, but then there's a point like near the end where it reaches a crescendo, and she says in Japanese, "Chocolate still looks delicious." And it's the most like triumphant moment in a song that I know of. I first heard that when I was feeling really depressed, and it was just really helpful to know that even when things are bad, it's still possible to like find moments that you enjoy, and those moments remind you to, you know, fix the things that you can, get out of whatever situation you're in as much as possible.
And or eat chocolate.
Yeah, that too. Probably do that first.
Eat chocolate, make sure it's a real problem, then.
Yeah, that's the order.
That's how it works. All right. Well, with that, we're going to throw it to our first break. Feel free to stick around and enjoy this totally real commercial, or take a minute to enjoy You by Oreska Band. Or if you really wanted to hear a song from a previous episode, check out the playlist on Spotify, Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves podcast, Song Rex. It's a long title, I know.
Don't worry, there's a link in the description.
Either way, see you in a jiffy. Do you ever find yourself sitting around with an emptiness inside your soul or larger than preferred vacuous space? Would you like to change that? I thought so. Now introducing Stuff. For when you have nothing to do but important things. Stuff. For when you're lacking personality and intrigue. Stuff. When the world has taken a pickaxe-sized chunk out of your heart. Stuff. And if Stuff no longer fulfills these needs, please don't hesitate to look into our life-enhancing product, Addiction. Welcome back, everybody. So today I'm here with Mr. Day. Mr. Day, what is your passion that you've brought with you today?
So I want to sell the listeners on something that's a little bit experimental. That being, what if you could play a card game that was not being designed by a corporation that wants your money, but was instead designed by fans of that card game, and was organized and play tested and produced and printed by those fans. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds terrible. Fans are the worst. But these are really good fans at what they do. And they
move air around, they keep the room cool.
Yeah, they're wonderful, and they're necessary in the summer, and I think you should give them a chance. So these are the fans of the game Netrunner, and specifically of the last official version of the game, which was Android Netrunner by Fantasy Flight Games. And I absolutely love this game, and I am endlessly fascinated by the fan collective called Project Nisei that is producing Netrunner now that Fantasy Flight Games no longer is. So, yeah, if you're part of any sort of gaming community, it's inevitable that you're going to run into complaints about whatever entity is publishing that game. And when you're the one making those complaints, then usually the answer that you get back from Reddit or the Ether is, yeah, it sucks that the company is making this decision, but all they care about is money. Nothing you can do about that. Mm-hmm. So what makes Project Nisei so interesting to me is that it challenges that assumption, because, I mean, they're not doing it for the money. They're specifically a non-profit. Mm-hmm. And so their moves show, like, both what's possible in the creation of a card game if profit isn't, like, the guiding principle. And it also shows, like, what things are going to be problems no matter who is designing the game that you love.
That's fascinating. So have there been other attempts at this other than with Netrunner and the Android. I mean, when you say Android Netrunner, you're talking about it was like a phone game, or
No. Android is the setting that Fantasy Flight put the Netrunner game in when they acquired the license.
okay. So other than those two games, has this been really done before, or is this something that's kind of new and like a different, not genre, but like almost like approach it, game and world building?
There have been like lots of other fan communities that sprung up when the games that they loved died out. To my knowledge, this is like the most successful example of a bunch of fans stepping in after a trading card game gets canceled by its publisher.
Hmm. That's really fascinating. So how did it, like, I understand the theoretical principle. If it's, community wants to continue playing a game, they kind of make it on their own for themselves. I feel like I've seen that before with, friends who I knew played like Legend of the Five Rings. I believe the game got canceled, and like they kind of made their own cards or changed rules and like for their own kind of innovation and fun to continue. But how does that work when you want to make it a business? Or like continue, or like not necessarily a business, but like make the game continue and like produce product.
Yeah. So it requires a whole bunch of people who are willing to do a ton of work on an entirely volunteer basis. So you need an extremely dedicated fan base to begin with. Luckily, they had that. And then you need to get organized. And I have no idea how they like managed to pull themselves together as a group so relatively successfully. They've got, positions and people in those positions and a process for people who want to change positions or who want to join the collective in some other way. It's not, actually anarchy, even though like the fans overall are a bunch of leftists who are really interested to see how it's possible to, they're interested in this question too of how do you make a, something as, blatantly commercial as a trading card game without any kind of profit motive.
Yeah.
The way you do
it sounds like it was mass produced too, right? Like this is something that you could buy. I'm assuming not in a game store, but online.
Yeah, it was something that you could buy in a game store once upon a time. Now,
oh wow,
yeah, now it's something like through Project Nisei. It's something you can buy the cards themselves from print-on-demand services, but they release all of the images for the cards that they make, and proxies are legal at all of the events that they run. So you can play the whole game using just Project Nisei cards without buying anything from Project Nisei.
wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool. So, is this something you've seen? Have other companies picked this up, other than, or like other, I guess, properties pick this up as like, it's not something you would like. I'm assuming it's not something a game studio would want to do, but are there other, properties that have kind of gone defunct or ran out of funding or been made in a way that the fans didn't like it, that this has happened since or before then of any note? Or is this kind of like the first time that this really happened to this, grandeur?
Again, to my knowledge, this is the largest scale project of its type. There have been like other similar things. Like a long time ago I played the game Imagination Duel, and it was another trading card game that died, and fans would design their own cards, and they would years later, they found ways to play online and they organized small tournaments. I'm pretty sure that the original Star Wars TCG had something similar, and same with the World of Warcraft TCG.
Mm-hmm.
But to my knowledge, again, this is the sort of most successful attempt there's ever been to like just straight up continue a card game that has been totally dead. And I would judge that success like based partially on actual sales. Like the Nisei cards are like among the best-selling products you can get from all of these like little print-on-demand services.
Mm-hmm.
But then also just from like the fact that the project still has so much like energy and like enthusiasm behind it years after the game died.
Yeah, that's so rad. So, when did you find out about this? Is this something that like you were a big fan of the game, and so when it got announced, you were kind of, I don't know, like not to say like on the dev team, but you were made aware of this, or is this something that after it happened, like how did you get introduced to this occurrence?
So I was following Netrunner the card game when Fantasy Flight was creating it, and I was among the people who was, devastated when they announced all of a sudden that the game is going to be ending because we don't have the license anymore, so no more Netrunner. And I saw people on Reddit go, hey, why don't we try to get all of the people who are in the community and who want to keep this game going? Why don't we all form under one banner and we'll make it official? And it's been like a very slow burn ever since. Like it's very obvious like what the weaknesses of this organization are. Like the strengths are that they are like very committed to quality, the like design and play testing of all of the cards that they create is really rigorous, which is like basically necessary. That's the difference between like just a bunch of fans writing whatever they want on a piece of cardboard and people like actually creating a game that other people want to play. But that process is very slow, and of course they're not paying the designers or the play testers. These are all people who are just doing it for the love of the game. Yeah. So there is a long time between new card releases. But
that's such a beautiful thing though, to literally like people use the love of the game and it's usually almost like a shackle. That like it seems like, they're doing it for the love of the game. It's like, okay, so they felt duty bound, like it's like it's like an addict, doing it for the high, even through like, the remission or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Or this one, it's literally, they love the game so much that they're performing a task for free. I mean, it's the same thing, but I don't know, it feels different. That's so pure.
Yeah.
It's so just like beautiful.
Yeah. It's sorry, go ahead.
Did you in any way, have you participated in this, helped in this in any way?
I've been like a tensely anxious observer this whole time. I don't know.
The wary, awkward kid at the pool.
Just exactly.
Touching your toes in each sector of the pool, trying to find a spot that isn't frigid.
Yes, I'm trying to like partly, I did not expect them to like operate as long as they have and be as successful as they have.
Yeah.
There was a new set that like just recently got released at time of recording, and it's been like months and months since the last set, and I was like pretty sure that whatever they had been planning to do, it was stuck in development hell. There was too long between releases. Nobody was going to like even remember the game anymore, even if they did manage to produce something. But as soon as like preview season started, like the entire community, like came to life again, like a corpse.
So cool.
Like a corpse just sort of like filling with air and standing up after having been on the ground, and then starts playing a card game. And that's
So is this like something that sees any kind of like, do they make tournaments for it? Are there gatherings? Are there anything like that? Or is it very much just kind of like kitchen table, occasional meetups at, hobby shops sort of circumstance?
The like part of what makes it like feel more real is that there are big events for it. They've been mostly remote since COVID, obviously, but the first Netrunner World Championship that's in person in like the last 3 years is going to be later this year in October in Toronto.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. It's so beautiful to see like mankind's persistence in spite of like daunting circumstances because of like love and passion.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the nerdiest modicum and like personification of what makes us a beautiful species. It's so cool. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you planning on attending or going to that, or?
Yes, I will go and
Sweet.
probably lose a lot of card games, but I'm excited.
But most importantly, play a lot of card games.
Yes, play lots of card games. Yeah. The community is small.
So, go ahead.
The community is like small enough that like you pretty much know who like all of the personalities are just based on I've seen their YouTube videos. They all appear on each other's podcasts. I'm probably gonna know like the names of a lot of these people when I show up, and they aren't gonna know like who the heck I am. So I'll go, oh, hi, Andre of the Metropole Grid, and he'll go, hi, you. Glad you like the show. Bye.
What would you say, in your experience as somebody who's kind of viewed this as attentively as you have, it is like, in talking with other people or just seeing reservations by other fans, what would you say is the biggest misconception about this experience and about this kind of circumstance?
The biggest misconception is that because it's run by fans, the like quality of the design is just going to be like pretty low level and like referential to earlier stuff made by like the official company. You can kind of hear me making the air quotes. I mean, like, Nisei is it's a big company with lots of people all trying to achieve the same things. The only difference is the profit motive. But that's a misconception in this case, not in every case, but in this case, just because of the quality of the cards that are being designed and released, And, that's my opinion. Your mileage may vary on that particular count, but just they've made it very clear that they want to take the game in new and interesting directions, and they've also made it clear that they're not precious about their own work. They're willing to print cards that are like a little bit higher on the power curve, and they're willing to ban their own cards if the cards aren't creating fun play patterns. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a kind of maturity about what they're trying to accomplish that I think most people wouldn't believe is possible from a collective that got started on Reddit by a bunch of
nerds,
bunch of freaking nerds being organized and like mature and stuff.
How dare they be those things? All right, before we move on, what would you say is your favorite non-obvious aspect to viewing and interacting with this kind of experience, with this movement, if you will?
I guess this is only not obvious if you're being really skeptical about the project, but like there are new cards out in the world like right now, and there haven't been for months, and I'm just thrilled out of my mind to be like diving into the new set the same way that I'm excited when like a new Magic set comes out, and you want to see all of the interactions. You want to take every like weird looking card and you want to build a deck that makes that card shine. And it's such a joy.
That's so beautiful. All right. Well, before we move on, where can people go to find out more about this if they want to play the game? If they want to, like, I know you said it earlier, but to kind of, kind of close out the section with the TLDR of where they can go to find out more about all these aspects of the new, the kind of revamp of Netrunner, I guess.
Yeah. Very simple. Go to nisei.net. That is spelled N as in Nancy, I as in Isaac, S as in Simon, E as in Edward, I as in Isaac.net. And you'll find everything you need there. If you want to play the game online for free, go to jinteki.net. That's JINTEKI.net.
Awesome. So cool. So cool. All right, well, from the cool to the crappy, Peter Day, what is your preposterous peeve?
I hate lotion. I hate how it feels on my skin. And I don't want it on my body, and I don't totally understand anyone who does.
So that scene in Silence of the Lambs was more traumatic for you than it was for the poor unfortunate lady down the well?
I only know about that scene from Reputation, and I will never watch it.
Just the idea of lotion.
No.
It's too much already.
Yeah, no, I heard there was lotion involved. And someone like forcing someone else to put lotion on their skin, and I was like, I can't watch this torture scene. That's way too graphic for me.
So when did you notice this being a just irksome interaction growing up? Was it from you're like 5 years old, mom's putting some sunblock on, you're just like, I'd rather get skin cancer.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I didn't know about skin cancer, but I would have agreed to that trade. She had to tell me that yes, I'm putting the sunscreen on your back, but I'm going to wipe it off. And that calmed me down a little bit. I knew she was lying, but
but I trusted her anyway.
Yeah. I knew there wasn't any other way out.
You were a gormless rube at the young age of 6.
I was such a rube. Not a gorm about me.
So this was always it was just just on jump that you were a lotion or any lotion-esque, quasi liquid was a no-go from you. There wasn't a time where it was like acceptable.
I can't remember a time when I enjoyed having anything similar to lotion near me.
So, okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of hypothetical products and a couple of hypothetical circumstances, and you let me know how these are gonna shake out.
Okay.
Body wash.
Body wash, I am now okay with. It took me a while to, like, first to get used to the idea of showering, because that's just, like, lots of wet material falling on you constantly.
So are you just like 5 cats in a trench coat? Like, is the idea of like a wet, like semi-viscous material, just like no dice regardless of circumstance? You'd rather lick yourself clean and have a sand bath?
I mean, that does sound preferable a lot of the time. I've gotten used to really hot showers because if you
dry quickly.
Exactly. If you make the like shower hot enough, then once you get out, your skin is all red and like fully dry. And that's that's the
first degree burns,
exactly.
Lotion on skin. Give me the first degree burns.
Exactly. That's
so what do you do when you go to the beach? Or do you just not go to the beach?
I try not to go outside if I can help it. If I do have to go to the beach, unless I'm going to the beach like specifically to go to the beach, if I'm going somewhere to swim, then yeah, I'll suck it up. I'll put on sunblock and I'll just be like slightly miserable the whole time. If there's any other option, then I'm gonna put on long pants. I'm gonna put on a long sleeve shirt and a hat, and I'm going to like carefully dart from shade to shade.
You dress up like somewhere between an old disgruntled hermit or a serial killer.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. No one talks to you. You stay in the shade.
Just Peter Day living his best day. All right. So do you have a story of when this predilection shone the brightest?
I don't. This isn't a specific instance, but because this applies to like anything lotion adjacent, if my wife, whom
it's gonna be your punk band handle if you ever make a band, is lotion adjacent.
If my wife, whom I love very dearly, kisses me after having put on chapstick, I will wipe my mouth after, and I try to be discreet about it, but I just I don't want that material stuck on me.
How like obviously if she just put it on, it's gonna transfer, but like if she put lipstick on hours ago and it's kind of like, set and it's not gonna like leave an imprint on you or anything like that to be noticeable to the eye, do you still feel it like 3 hours after she's adorned it?
I'll still feel it. Yeah.
Wow. Has she ever caught you taking her kiss away?
If she has allowed me to maintain my dignity, and that is just another reason why I love her forever.
Aw. That's so sweet.
But yes, she's very aware about my phobia, so she like if she needs me to like put lotion on her back, I will do so, and then once I'm done, she says, "Okay, you can wipe the rest off of me. Do you need to go wash your hands?" And I do need to go wash my hands.
Have you ever tried like wearing gloves while doing it? Does that make a difference? Or is it just, you might as well just do it and then wash your hands off afterwards?
I think I might as well just do it and wash my hands off. I think like the sensation of having like something kind of viscous over something like a fabric that's also moving against my hand, and then like my sweat would get involved. I think that's
All right,
The-
I'm starting to get unsettled.
yeah, cure worse than the disease.
Such a great way of putting it. All right, with that mental image, we're going to head to our second ad break, but don't go anywhere, because when we get back, Peter Day is going to enter the lightning round. See you in a bit. Have you ran out of new stuff to do, rendering your life wholly unsatisfying? Do you have too much time on hand and have no idea what to do with it? Or are you just plain over this existence and wish for a plane with more intrigue? Might I introduce you to Addiction? Addiction deals with all these problems and more. Had to meet your significant other's parents and would rather not? Addiction. Had to go to work for the third day in a row? Addiction. Rent? Why not? Addiction. Addiction cannot be held responsible for your choice of choosing to imbibe in addiction. Any and all life-destroying fallout as a result of addiction cannot be legally pinned on addiction. But you're more than welcome to try. And we are back. Peter, are you ready to enter the lightning round?
The lightning round?
I've been waiting for this all day.
All right, put however much time to bake this cookie on the clock. Peter, is there a price for you to give up your passion forever?
No.
Make the food or do the dishes?
Do the dishes.
Are soups smoothies?
No.
Did you ever cheat on a test in school?
Yep.
Are you out of touch, or is it the children who are wrong?
I'm definitely out of touch.
Would you rather have your inner monologue sound like Gilbert Gottfried or Fran Drescher?
Gilbert Gottfried.
Would you rather read the cue cards while wearing the crown or live in a hovel and speak your mind?
Live in a hovel.
Do you create your own thoughts or just listen to them?
I create my own thoughts.
Take the garbage out or play trash Tetris?
Take the garbage out.
You're having the best day of your life. What happens next? Another amazing thing or something terrible?
Another amazing thing. That's logic.
Pineapple on pizza or fist fight?
Pineapple on pizza. It's delicious.
You come across a stranger just struck by a car. Their dying breath is this: "This is very important. Please tell my wife. She's a dirty harlot." Do you or do you not tell their wife?
Tell the wife she's a dirty harlot.
Is professional wrestling cool or lame?
Cool.
Courtesy flush or light a candle?
Courtesy flush.
Can I have your pickle?
Sure.
Assuming there were no health or global effects to worry about, would you rather it always be dark or always be light?
Always dark.
Would you rather be completely made of eyeballs from the neck down, no eyelids, or be a remote-controlled Tonka truck from the neck down? You have the remote, but you have to give it to somebody else so that they can drive you around because you have no appendages with which to use it.
Eyeballs. Simpler.
Brussels sprout flavored Mountain Dew or day-old lasagna milkshake?
Day old lasagna milkshake.
Is the universe finite?
Yes.
Could you eat 37 of your favorite food for $5,000 in a 1-hour time limit?
No.
Congratulations!
You've survived the lightning round!
Hey.
But before we move on to your fabulous prize, I, like many listeners at home, would like to now know, what is your favorite food?
I mean, anything that involves lots of pasta. I don't know how you would divide that into servings, but any reasonable division of giant pasta dish into servings would be way too much pasta to eat 35 copies of.
Well put. Well, now that you survived and answered my tawdry question, what lightning round question would you like to ask me and in turn be asked of future guests?
I would like to know, does everything happen for a reason?
No.
What makes you say that?
Because if it did, there's a lot of people that are getting fucked over for no reason. And I just don't want to believe that we live in a world where certain people are destined to have shitty lives and other people are destined to have an amazing one. That just feels sad. It'd make me feel good because my life is pretty great and I've had a lot of great things happen, but there's people who seem wonderful that have had just heaps of shit happen. And if it happened for a reason, that would just... Nah. I don't want that to be the truth. What about you?
I love that answer.
Thank you.
Same answer, same reason.
Hey.
I've been watching Love Island over my wife's shoulder, and among the catchphrases on that show is, well, everything happens for a reason. And it doesn't. No.
Said the Capricorn about her millionaire lifestyle.
God. Yeah. Yeah, you put it better than I could. There's it's a really dark world if everything actually happens for a purposeful reason.
Yeah. Well, things that do happen for a reason. Nope, that's not a good transition. Well, this is happening for a reason. Nope, still a bad transition. Fuck it. All right, well, as we come to the close here, anything you want to, on purpose, plug, shout out, or places you'd like to give your salutations, or places people can find you or your content?
I'm not on social media, but if you go to tcgplayer.com, the #1 marketplace for all collectibles, you know about us, we've got the lowest prices. If you go there and you sign up for marketing emails, specifically Magic the Gathering marketing emails, then every Friday you will get a brief little newsletter from us that most of the time will be written by me and be about whatever is interesting in the world of Magic that week. Other thing to plug, hey, do you want to play a really cool card game made by a bunch of nerds? Go to nisei.net and find out what would be possible if we didn't live under capitalism, and decide whether you like it or not.
All right, man. Do you have any friends, family that you'd like to nominate to come on this podcast so they too can suffer as you have today?
I think I want to nominate Emma Partlow, a staff writer for TCG Player and all-around cool person, member of the Pauper Committee. I'm getting the precise name wrong, but she's important in Magic, and she has cool
Pauper
opinions.
Format Panel.
That's the one. She's on that. She makes the decisions about what cards you're playing and which ones you aren't, along with several other people.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you, Peter, for being my guest today, and a special thanks to my editor, Richard Ashford, and my composer, Joshua Gibbons. And thank you. Yes, you listening at home or wherever you found time to appreciate this. Time is the most precious commodity we have, and I appreciate you spending yours with us. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, or just share it with a friend. Every little bit helps. Or if you already have and are out of episodes to listen to, don't worry. We put out a new episode every Monday at midnight on YouTube, Soundcloud, Spotify, and iTunes at Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves Podcast. And a very special thanks are due to our Patreon patrons, Sabella Yellow. If you'd like to join said illustrious ranks and have your name read aloud, just head on over to patreon.com/Passionate People and Preposterous Peeves Podcast. And remember, folks, never drop bombs, only drop beats. They're easier to clean up after, and will bring more people to their feet.